I'm going to have him talk some Angels baseball. We're going to talk about the history of him becoming a fan, all that stuff coming up. Plus, if you have any questions, I don't know if he's too animated. Again, he did not watch today's game. I just gave him the bad news, and he found out, too, that we got creamed today, 8-2. So, my pops, want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Ralph Mischke, dad of Todd Mischke.
There you go. Or ToddFox is my radio.
ToddFox.
There you go.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. Everyone's saying hi, by the way, on the thing, because we don't have it on here on the screen. I'll
Okay.
just read it off to you. But so, yeah, tell them a little bit about yourself, how you became an Angels fan.
Well, I grew up in Inglewood. We lived in Inglewood from 1948 forward. And I got started as a young person. My dad used to take us on Sundays to Wrigley Field. No, not the one in Chicago, but the famous one here in South Los Angeles. Wrigley Field with its famous wall on left field, all ivy covered. And I always remember that fella that played at first base called Steve Bilko. Maybe you fans from way back remember him. He was our man, and when we needed a home run, he came through. And it was a thrill to see him hit it into the apartment complex across the street.
Power hitter, right?
Yes.
So who did you like before that? Because obviously you were a fan. You used to tell me you used to root for another team besides the Angels before they were PCL.
Well, there was a real division or a rivalry between the Hollywood Stars, who used to play up at Gilmore Field in West LA area, and they always came and they wanted to beat the Angels if it was the last thing they did. And we had some fabulous games. We had a scrappy manager, too. I can't remember his name or recall it, but often he was kicked out of the game for this or that time trying to defend the team.
Okay. And then, but the major league team though before the Angels.
Well, I had an interest because of my other hobby, railroading, but
Go figure.
there was a team called the Milwaukee Braves back in the 50s. They were the utmost, after the Yankees, the Braves were the best team. And I remember that World Series with Henry Aaron and Eddie Matthews and Warren Spahn and Lou Burdette. And they just were an unbelievably great team. And the players, they were a real team. And that's so lacking, sadly, in the teams of today. It's either one person trying to get all the glory. It's not working as a team. And sad to say, our Angels have followed that example for many, many years. Sad to say.
Well, Pujols, right? That's one of the guys who's stat chasing, just all about himself. That's what we were talking about today.
Yes, yeah. They're trying to make an image, and yeah, okay, it's fine, but the only way you're going to win is you look at years past. The teams that got all the way to the end in the World Series were the teams that were able to work together unitedly. They didn't stand out one way or the other, but it was a united effort.
Exactly. You got some questions on here. A lot of people saying hi for the first time and things like that. Keith says, who is your favorite Angels player of all time? Do you have one?
Well, sad to say, there are more disappointment players than there are great players. I think in modern times, Garrett Anderson would be one of my favorite players, and also the guy that does on the broadcast.
Tim Salmon?
Tim Salmon is the other one.
What about going back earlier, though, like 60s, 70s? Because you brought up Bilko. But when the Angels became the Angels, what player was your favorite growing up?
Jim Fregosi.
Jim Fregosi, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
Both as a manager and a player.
Okay, got you. Let's see, and then I have a few more on here. Again, people are saying the man, the myth, the legend. Let's see, Chase wants to know, Do you remember going to the LA Coliseum, or do you remember baseball games being played there with that massive net?
I did not personally ever visit that place. I have seen pictures of it on TV, I believe, but I never personally was there
Or for a baseball game?
for a
Right?
baseball
Yeah.
game.
What about Wrigley Field? What that story you want to tell it real quick about the grandma
Oh, that was one of a kind. You know how we all look excitedly to get a ball at
in the stands?
in the stands. Well, there was an occasion where I was at the ballpark and there was a pop up that occurred on the right side and it came right toward our area. And everyone were reached their hands up. They were all trying to get it. And guess what? They missed it. And you know what happened? There was a poor little old lady that was sitting there in her chair and it went conk right on her head. I felt so bad for that lady. They had to take her out because she had a concussion, but gratefully they announced that they gave the ball to her as a souvenir.
Well, at least she had the ball. So.
Yes.
Oh,
But I can't believe that 50 people missed that ball.
yeah, exactly. Well, that's why nets are up nowadays. Is everyone has butterfingers or just bad judgment. Grillmaster says, "Do you want Joe Madden to be fired?" What are your thoughts on Madden? Because you got a couple questions about the current team here too.
I'm not exactly happy with the way Joe Madden is managing the Angels. I thought when he came to the Angels, he was going to demonstrate the play that Chicago, when he managed Chicago, they really played good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand what happened. It's like he turned a leaf and he's not the same manager that he was when he was with Chicago. I'm not going to say he should go. I'm not going to say he should stay because I don't honestly feel that it's his fault for our team this year.
Okay, that's fair enough. So you would give him a third year if possible, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah, because that's up to Perry. Okay. What about Trouter here says, what are your thoughts on Rendon? 3 years in now.
Again, I think what has happened is the Angel brass has spent money where they didn't need to spend money. The guy is an underperformer, sad to say. He may have been very good in the previous team he was with, but something is not right. I really expected much more out of him.
Exactly. And also another question from Grillmaster. He wants to know thoughts on Darren Sutton, how we got rid of him. Did you like him as an announcer, and what do you think of the new guy? What are your takes on those?
I love Darren Sutton.
Okay.
He really did great. He put a little life into the broadcasting because that other guy that we had in the past, Rojas. I mean, you could go to sleep all evening long. He didn't give you nothing, but I enjoyed this fella, and I wish him the best wherever he goes. And the fella that we have now, he seems to be reasonably good, and maybe it's just a matter of more time, and he's going to develop into a great broadcaster.
Man, it seems like our entire team is having to develop, even the freaking the broadcasters. Trouter here says, Brian Downing. Thoughts on Brian Downing? Did you enjoy watching him play?
Oh, absolutely. Brian Downing was one of a kind. I mean, he broke so many Angel records. He never said a bad thing about anyone. And he certainly belongs in the Angel Hall of Fame.
There you go. That's a good call right there. James says Torrey Hunter was one of his favorite players. You agree? You agree with that? You miss Torrey Hunter, his leadership?
I enjoyed Torrey Hunter. He was very good, and I still don't to this day understand why we traded him when we did.
Only we let him go. It was Pujols' fault mostly because when Pujols came over, they kind of fought, and he was trying. They were trying to be one over the other, supremacy for the dugout, and it should have been Torrey since he had a longer tenure. Let's see. We got the thoughts on. Let's see. James says Adam Kennedy and Jim Edmonds were his favorite players. Big question. Thoughts so far on Joe Adell, this year to compare to last year? You think he's turned the corner? He's playing better? He had 2 more hits today.
I certainly hope so. He's a fine young individual, and he's probably got many good years of playing, and hopefully they'll be with the Angels.
Exactly. Well, yeah, they got him under contract for a while, but Keeves wants to know about Frank Tanana. You enjoyed watching him pitch?
Frank Tanana was outstanding. Every time he went out and pitched, he gave you a good quality game. Very rarely did he have a poor performance.
Yeah, he was pretty good. I know we've done trivia on here about Dean Chance. You like Dean Chance back in the day?
Yes, he was also a fine Angel pitcher.
I remember when he took me to my first game. It was I think it was in '89 or something like that. I was only 9 years old, and because I think he didn't want to take me before that because it was too far for us to drive at the time, and B, because our car sucked, and then B, we didn't have the money. So when we finally did go, it was an amazing trip to see like guys like Wally Joyner playing. You know, I think it was Chili Davis's first year. I might be wrong on that, but I just remember the Angels looked larger than life, and I remember going to that stadium just being blown away. And just enjoying the fact that, I'm at a real professional baseball game. It was my first sporting event. So that was pretty cool. And I owe it to this guy. I was an Angel fan like that from the start. Because, and we got, a question on here too about Fast Times wants to know, let's go to the bread and butter. Thoughts on the Dodgers? Because they know your distaste for the Dodgers because that's where I get it from. I told them the first experience that I had watching like real baseball and getting into it, because he used to play baseball with me from like the moment I could remember, like 3-4 years old. But I remember he would never cuss, and we were watching the World Series, and he hates Oakland, but he hates the Dodgers more. And so when Gibson hit that home run, he was watching it, and we were in the front room. I was sitting right next to him. And when Gibson hit that homer, I heard him say, "Son of a," and my mom's like, "Ralph, stop cussing. Todd's right there."
I said son of a biscuit,
you did
not the other.
You did not say biscuit. You did not say biscuit. But from that moment on, I knew my dad's hatred for the Dodgers. Like it lit a fire under me too.
Well, it started with having to observe the attitude and the thinking that they were the greatest thing of all. From Tommy Lasorda down, I tell you, I couldn't stomach it. And that's why baseball is just not the same the way it used to be.
Yeah, but remember back in the day, though, I mean, when how they came over, because the Angels were here first, and that's the thing. Everyone always says the Dodgers were here first. But he would set me straight because he's like, hey, we were here at Wrigley Field. We were PCL before, all that, right?
Absolutely. The Dodgers only came out here because they followed the New York Giants who moved to San Francisco. And they thought the grass is greener on the other side. And so somebody put forth a lot of nice money to invite them, and that's how they got here.
And exactly a video that I kind of want to post up. I'm going to post up later about the Dodgers, how they got the land. They stole. So, there's a lot of things that, like as Angel fan. And then the fact that, again, being here first and then being considered the little brother, then Angels, it just seemed like over their history, whether it was snake bitten or whatever, they were always falling just short while the Dodgers seemed to get that push. And we had a discussion on here one time. Let me get your thoughts on this before I go back to the questions. I was talking one time, imagine if the Dodgers never came here and the Angels were the team that played in downtown. Do you think that team, the way it was constructed with maybe the backing of celebrities, the city behind Gene Autry, do you think they win one World Series being the only game in town?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because everybody would be for them. Right now, the Dodgers have everything going their way.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no way the Angels will be able to get the popularity of the Dodgers unless they get some very notable individuals to play on this team and perhaps reshuffle the management and get somebody in there who really cares.
Yeah, and trainers too, because
I think we've set a record over several number of years of injuries, and our players are not physically in shape like everybody else, sad to say.
And it shows.
It does. You know, I give you granted that the present players we have at the 9 positions, the regulars, are doing all that they possibly can to be the best, and I give them hats off. But the training staff needs to be replaced.
Yeah, they've been there too long.
Yeah.
Rally Chris says Angels need to sign Papa Fox as broadcaster. Says he get a vote there. Opinion on pitching rotation. Ace wants to know Finley, Langston, Kirk McCaskill, and Abbott of that pitching rotation. What did you think when they had that those 4 in the rotation?
Well, definitely we saw an improvement, and when you have good pitchers, you're going to win some games. This is unbelievable what I have seen in the last few years. The Angels starting pitching last 3 innings, 4 innings. That's baloney. And you bring the bullpen in and you wear them down to the fact that they can't do their job.
Exactly. I mean, the bargain basement pitchers, because she names 4 pitchers right there that are just unbelievable. Langston, obviously.
Exactly.
Finley with that forkball.
Yes.
Kirk McCaskill could relieve or start. I mean, and Jim Abbott was Jim Abbott.
Under the Disney management, the team prospered. They got good players, and they made Anaheim happy.
Exactly. Why I wish, with everything that Disney's bought, with all the comic book places, ESPN, I wish they would have held on to the Angels. I really do. I guarantee we'd be in a better situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. James also says playing with passion, with talent, and backing it up. That's a good way to do it. Things right here. Justin wants to check in, says, on my way to the Aviators game in Vegas. He's catching minor league baseball. Aaron Slagers, former pitcher for us, is pitching for Salt Lake over there. Let's see. Chase is asking for you to be on here for a monthly segment. We love your stories, he says. Keith says, how excited were you when the Angels finally lifted that World Series trophy, and were you at the game?
I'll tell you, the house rocked. My son and I were jumping up and down and screaming and yelling, and we just couldn't believe our eyes that it's finally happened. We did it as a team. It was just the most marvelous time that you could ever experience.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that day like it was yesterday, because Game 6, remember we had a few Dodger friends over. Sam was over and a couple others. And we were watching the game, and I remember for the good 6 innings, me and Dad we kind of had our heads down, but we had that whole like moniker of like, hey, the Angels made it to World Series. We never thought this would happen. We're happy for the boys. We're even thinking of being down there at the stadium to welcome them back or whatever. Stuff like that, because we're conceding at that point. It was 5-0.
Yes.
And we thought the game was over, and then after that, as fans, how magical those last 3 innings were. And then that set the tone, because Game 7, me and Dad were like, no, we're watching this together, and we don't want nobody else there, and we're going to watch this and hopefully enjoy a victory. And I'm telling you, me and him were hugging, almost crying, because his entire lifetime being beat down by his coworkers and friends for being an Angel fan, because he usually worked with Dodger friends, and then finally being able to stick it to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And when that guy, I forget his name, he hit that 3-run homer.
Oh, the 3-run double, Garrett.
Yeah, go Garrett, and then there was Spezio did some.
Oh, Spezio hit the 3-run homer.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Game 6. Yeah, that was crazy.
Oh.
That gave us a shot right there.
Yes.
Exactly. Let's see. James says, I grew up a Dodgers and Angels fan until finally I got tired of Dodger fans and their negativity. So he just went full on Angels. Kyle says, might not be a fan of the Angels if they played downtown. Anaheim probably gets the team either way. True. Let's see. The negative Dodger fans always overshadowed the great LA fans, James says. Another question for you is Ohtani, is what Ohtani doing this season the greatest season you've ever seen by a player?
Absolutely. I always thought what Hank Aaron did was unbelievable, hitting all those home runs, and that late 50s team was one of the greatest. I remember when they played against the New York Yankees, everybody thought, no way can they beat the Yankees. You know how that always is.
Mhm.
But they did it with zeal and determination.
Exactly. So you think Otani's season this far, record breaking, obviously, he should get the MVP. But what were you telling me the other day about Otani, in your opinion?
Well, he is absolutely a marvelous player. He's going to be great for years to come. I'm a little disappointed in the fact that they pushed him into that home run derby because, as you can tell, fans, he has not been the same after that home run derby. It took a lot out of him. Yes, he's still pitching great, but the hitting is missing.
Yeah, he's swinging at a lot of stuff. You're right.
Yes.
You're right. Another question from Rally Chris says, what does Papa Fox think about Roger Lodge?
I would have to talk all night long about the disgusting expressions that this guy, how or why he ever got hired here, is amazing to me. If I had been in management, I'd have kicked him out the first day.
He's that cheesy, huh?
He doesn't belong in an Angel
As a broadcaster.
broadcaster.
Well, yeah, I mean, he always talks like the stupid parts, and like he never gives anyone the opinions that they would have as fans. You know what I mean? If it's not positive, bye-bye.
And what's worse to me is he plays Dodger music or Dodger stuff when it's an Angel organization. Why are you supporting the Dodgers?
In any way.
Yes.
That's why I'm totally with you. I can't understand it. It's okay because when he wants to play a Laker highlight because they talk Lakers and whatnot. But the Dodgers have their own network. You know what I mean? We have our own station. The Dodgers are never going to play Angel highlights. They still refer to us as Anaheim, even though a lot of fans like that. But the league mandates every team to when they talk about the Angels, Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim or Los Angeles Angels. Yeah. They refuse to do that. They always call us Anaheim. So there's disrespect there, either way you look at it. But Roger's like, hey, let's play another highlight of the Dodgers. You know?
Oh, gets me so upset.
Exactly. Let's see. James also checks in and says, we used to be a team that has a lot of pitching but no offense. Now, offense, no pitching. And then says, what does I've seen the stuff. Do you Fast Times created a lot of these shirts? You know, the Angels, the Halo.
Yeah.
Do you like those logos and stuff that I've been showing you? Like this
Absolutely. We need all we can do to get the fans. You know, you folks out there. One thing that has really been disappointing in recent years is the lack of excitement the fans show when they're at the ballpark for the Angels. For example, when Boston or New York come, the stands are full with individuals who are rooting for Boston and New York. Well, what about our group? We're Angels. Why are people here living in California supporting the teams back east? They need to do like the fans who support the Dodgers. Will you support them regardless of who comes in to play them?
At least have the majority, right?
Yes.
Yeah, not half and half stuff.
And it's disappointing to see the lack of interest or excitement on the part of our fans. So we need to work a little harder on our fan base and get them to understand, hey, you're here at Angel Stadium. This is who you support.
Exactly. Okay, so here's a good question here by Ace. She's a season ticket holder. So Darren Erstad to her was her favorite grinder type player, like a hardcore, getting dirty all the time, making diving catches. Who was your favorite like hardcore grinder type Angel player? Someone that laid it out in the line all the time.
The one player I enjoyed a lot was our center fielder, and I'm trying to recall his name. He played in center field back in the 80s.
Devon White?
No. Cannot remember his name.
I'm pretty sure it'll pop up right now.
Yeah, I'm
Someone will pop
thinking
it up.
about it. He, whenever a ball was hit to the deep outfield, He was very similar to.
You mean Edmonds?
Yes,
Oh,
Jim
Edmonds.
Edmonds.
Yeah.
When a ball was hit to the gap or again to the fence, he was like Mike Trout.
Yeah.
He got it.
Yeah. What about that catch in Kansas City over the?
Oh, that was a lifetime. You would never see another one like that.
Yeah. I still to this day, me and Dad were actually at attendance when they played Detroit, and it was his first. They were just redoing Edison Field, and Jim Edmonds got his first hit. It was like a double. It was a meaningless game. They were blowing out Detroit. And my dad at the time was like, I think this guy's going to be pretty good. And he had made a couple catches during the game. And yeah, he was a guy that we were real sad to see get traded for who we got. I mean, we got Adam Kennedy, but the main trade was for Kent Bottenfield. That guy was sucked. I mean, he was like Bundy 2.0 without the throwing up. Trouty here says Troy Gloss was the man. He liked Troy Gloss.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and then Chase says just like how today's game was, they were down 5-0 and they came back. Oh wait, they didn't come back. And then let's see, Otani is the future. Let's see, Trout or Mantle. Trouty here wants to know. Who do you got? Who do you think's better, or stat wise, or who do you think's going to have the better career, Mantle or Trout?
Mickey Mantle?
Yeah, or Trout. Do you think Trout's going to surpass him? You think he's better than Mantle was?
It all depends on how he comes back from this injury.
Mm-hmm.
Trout is one of the best players we've ever had here in Angel history. Mickey Mantle, you have to go back, look at the type of teams that he played with.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
He just contributed where he needed to.
Yeah.
And that's because that whole team was like a solid wall.
Yeah, they were loaded.
They were loaded, and they got the job done. Sad to say, honestly, Angel fans, I think we've wasted several years of Mike Trout's career because we have had an inefficient team to support him.
And bad management.
And bad management, yes.
A couple quick questions here, too. Do you prefer Los Angeles Angels or Anaheim Angels?
I prefer that they be called the Angels, and it doesn't make any difference what name you have in front of it.
Okay. So it's all about the front on the team.
Yes.
Okay. Jaime wants to know, dinosaurs or trains? Pick one.
Wow. You make it tough. I love both, but I have to lean toward trains.
Yeah.
I am in the model railroading. I've been into that for many, many years, and I have a operating layout in the garage that we are nearby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I got to take pictures and post that for you because some people have asked for it too. So he loves the trains. Kevin says, or Keith says, if I bought you a sell the team Artie shirt, would you wear it to the Angel game? Would you go like that, or would you say, oh, that's too much, or what?
Well, I'll probably get kicked out of the stadium, but I'd wear it.
Oh, there you go. All right. Let's see. Hold on. A couple more questions here. He says, an Angels fan from Portland, Oregon, and there's quite a few of us up here supporting the Halos. So he just wants to let you know that there's Angel fans up in Portland. What do you think about entertaining a trade for Mike Trout if the team doesn't improve?
No, he is a leader. We cannot afford to give him away.
Do you like for him to finish his career here, huh?
Absolutely.
Because who would you get for him? That's the problem.
Not in today's world. Other teams, they have figured a way of giving the Angels the least what they can give.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. Chase also says he hopes he hopes the Angels can win a World Series in his lifetime. And then here's another good question. Ace is going back here. Now you remember these closers. What was your favorite closer? Brian Harvey, Lee Arthur Smith, K-Rod, or Troy Percival?
I would say it would be a tie between Troy Percival and A-Rod.
Or K-Rod.
Or K-Rod. Both of them were unique in their style of closing. You didn't have to worry. When they came in, they did the job. and he was incredible.
Hmm. They were a nasty 1-2 punch as well when they were 8th inning, 9th inning guys.
Yes.
Jaime wants to know as well, the Lakers, when you think of the Lakers, you think of Jerry West or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. When someone says Angels, who's the first name that pops up to you?
Brian Downing.
Brian Downing, okay. Because he was like the professional or what?
He set the standard.
Okay.
His way of doing things, his way of communicating with others, and his style of play.
Okay. Nice. You got also Chase says he's going to show you his send some pictures of his Christmas train setup that he's got. Jaime wants to hear if you have a Roger Lodge impersonation. Do you know how to do Roger's voice, or you want to give it a shot, or no?
I don't want to touch that. No, thank you.
You'll let me do that one?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, you could do that. I know.
So with all your history now, watching games and stuff like that, and when we go to games, you know, it's kind of, because I kind of told him it's kind of hard for you to see. You know, you lost your eye when you were a child in the incubator, because when he was born preemie, so the incubators had just come on the market. And they turned the heat up way too much, and it fried out the retina. So your right eye, right?
Left eye.
Left eye, yeah.
Yeah.
So despite that, this man has always had the dream of becoming either working for the railroad, but he passed all the tests, but the eye thing was always a thing where he couldn't do. But despite all this, he didn't let that affect him. He's worked hard all his life, played baseball with us all the time up until what? What age did you stop playing?
Actually, I remember I played baseball till I was about 55 with you.
Yeah, 55. Yeah, we're talking about hardball too, and it was funny because we went to his we did a baseball game. I think at the time, what was I, like 20 something or early 20s, and he was 50. Yeah, it was 55, 56 almost, and they put us at the bottom of the order. So we were like 8, 9, and it was a tie ball game. And he came up to bat, and they're all like, "Oh, bring the outfield in." The pitcher was like, "All right, I'm gonna give him the cheese." And all of a sudden, like, he hits one because he's a switch hitter. He hits one out, and right away, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, Ralph." And then they're all like, "Yeah, his son can't do it. He sucks. He's too young." And I come up there because I'm a stick at the time, and boom, we go back to back. And then me and him were just like celebrating, high five. That was like one of the best times, because that was like a Griffey moment, man. Like without all the fanfare, but it was cool because we grew up playing. I mean, that's how close we were as father-son. Like we did a lot of stuff together, baseball-wise. Now we do stuff with the trains. I help him out, and so and we watch games together, and it's fun. This is what it's all about.
Absolutely. You
have family together. You're take them to games. I'm gonna bring taking them to the tailgate. So it's just fun.
And it's been a joy over the years to. Just see the Angels play. Well, yes, we've had some bad years, but we've also had a couple good years. We've had a couple divisional titles, and the teams played their heart out. And you can only do what management will allow you to do. If you don't get the right players, you're not going to win.
Yeah, and you need the right people in charge to lead the team too.
Yes,
because. One other question I get a lot is people ask, who is the actual leader of this team? Do you see any leaders on this squad?
Sad to say, I don't. I see individuals who are trying to do their utmost to win. I can look at that infield, and the majority, I'd say 3 out of the 4 infielders are doing everything they can.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've had, like I said before, unfortunate injuries that have put key players out. And then we've had to have, and I have to give a lot of credit to some of the secondary players. They've stepped up.
Mayfield.
And there's a couple others that they have stepped up and done all they possibly could under the circumstances. But sad to say, this year has been a total flop because when the pitching is good, the hitting is no good. And when the hitting finally gets going, then we go into the pitching rut and we can't win a game.
Yeah. We just haven't put both sides together.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think we did for the first 2 weeks. That was it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jaime says, thanks. Thank you for coming on. He enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yesenia says, thoroughly enjoying the interview with Papa Fox. Thank you. Good job, Papa Fox. Trouter here says, thank you so much. You're definitely inspiring. Another voice of the Angel fans on here. The other James says, what scale are your trains? Chase wants to know.
HO scale.
Yeah, HO scale.
I particularly modeled the 1950 to 60 era, and I also have a large collection of Pacific Electric red cars.
Yeah, a lot of trolleys.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and then James says it's all about family. So exactly. So with that being said, any final words before we dip out of here?
I thank you all, listening audience, for the opportunity to voice myself. And go Angels. Maybe next year will be our year.
There you go. So thanks everyone for checking in, and we had a good time. You know, he's been wanting to get on here too when I started telling you guys were requesting. So thanks.